I think I think no matter what age you are, you can do anything you set your mind to. And you may have the biggest imposter syndrome. Like when I first started working for you, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I will figure it out one way or another. So even if you have like no idea what you're doing, you feel like you're too old, you're not mature, or you're too young and you're not mature enough to like handle all this stuff.
Welcome to another episode of That Changed My Life, a podcast where real people share their personal stories of transformative moments that altered the course of their lives. In each episode, we'll dive into the personal stories of individuals who have experienced transformative events that shifted their perspectives, sparked newfound passions, or led them on unexpected paths. From life-altering decisions to chance encounters, our guests will candidly share their journeys of transformation, growth, and self-discovery. I am your host, Alex Lovely, a real estate investor and life coach on a mission to discover the extraordinary ways in which our lives can be forever transformed by a single moment. Nick, welcome.
Hey.
Thank you for taking the time to hop on this call with me. I'm so excited to be able to interview you. You're my protege, and I know there's been a lot of life-changing moments for you. I know a little bit of your story, but I want you to share with the world your story. If somebody was to say, "Who's Nick?" how would you respond to it? Nick Chiarmonte, who are you?
Who am I? Yeah, no, it's been a wild ride. I haven't even known you for a year yet, which is crazy. It's
Yeah.
like been 11 months. But let's see, who am I? Well, I like to play tennis and I like to cook, among other things. But when I met you last year, I had no idea what multifamily real estate was. Like I was like, what is this? I had like
Yeah.
invested in stocks, and the year before, me and my dad, we bought these two storage units from this company that did like shows and stuff. They were like a design company, so they had a bunch of like random like home decor in these storage units. So we bought them for $7,000, and the entire summer, um, we had garage sales in our front yard of just like we have a one car garage, but when we brought like the U-Haul home of all the boxes, it filled to the top of the garage and like to the front door. It was crazy. So the entire summer we sold everything. I would put up like Facebook ads and like a Facebook marketplace and like this garage sale website, and we'd have like hundreds of people come every weekend and buy stuff, and it was really fun. And it first let me talk to people because I'm a pretty shy person. I'm trying to break away from that, but like it was my first, you know, situation where I could sell for to people, and it like was my first little business I had. So it was really fun, and that's actually the money we used when I first invested with you in Las Vegas. In those 3 units was from that storage that me and my dad split, and everyone thought we were crazy and that we would lose so much money, and we ended up, making a good bit of money and then putting it into real estate. But I met you like 2 weeks after my birthday. I'm 16, so kind
Yeah,
of
I was
crazy.
about to say that.
I
You're
know.
16 years old and this is an entrepreneurship like mindset that you have,
Yeah,
and uh-huh.
like my entire life, I was always like, I don't want a normal job. Like, I don't want to work for somebody. Like, I don't want to. My mom has worked in like corporate America her entire life. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 and stuff like that. And that summer, so last year, my mom was like begging me. She was like, you have to get a job.
Mhm.
Like whatever it is, you have to work for the summer. You can't just like sit around and play video games. And then when I met you, it was like the perfect opportunity. And you gave me a chance. And you actually interviewed on my dad's podcast, which I had been working on for like almost a year, and it was super fun. And you were like, I need someone to do my social media. And to be honest, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I had never edited a video before when I sent you those 3 videos. So, like, I had a YouTube channel, so I'd edit like stupid little videos together, but Instagram Reels, like, never before.
Mhm.
And you were like, I'll pay you $5,000 a month, or I'll give you a percentage in my media company, and I'll fly you out to all these events. And $5,000 was pretty appealing back then because I had like no money. I was like,
Back then.
yeah, I mean, um, yeah, I had no money, so I was like, I mean, that sounds appealing, but I think we could make a company a lot bigger than $5,000 a month, and it was definitely the right choice, and it's been
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think it's really incredible, and I want to just go back a little bit, even in your 16 years of your life. When did you start to say, I'm not going to work for anybody? I don't want a regular job. Like, how did that mentality start?
Um, I don't know. I've always used to do like I would always have like stupid little businesses I tried to run. Like I'd always have lemonade stands in the front of my house. I don't know if you know what rainbow loom is, but it was a big thing when I was a kid. And you'd make like bracelets out of these rubber bands.
Oh,
So I
okay.
had like a rainbow loom kit, and then me and my friends, we'd set up like a little stand in front of our house, and we would sell the bracelets to like random people walking by. Um, so I had all these stupid little businesses, and I was like, I wanna make something for myself. Like I wanna make something, and I wanna like be proud of it, and you know, live like working a 9 to 5 job. Sure, you get paid, but you're like stuck in there forever, and it's not really something that you own. Like you're always working for somebody. I wanted that
Yeah.
independence, and it was probably more like when I was like 14, 15, when it's like, okay, your parents are not gonna pay for everything now. Like you gotta make some money. I need a job. That's when I
Uh-huh.
kinda started to get into it, and I, I've never really shared this story that much, but I actually, when I started doing my dad's podcast, someone else reached out to me and was like, "Hey, can you do my podcast for me?" So I, like, gave them this whole proposal and stuff, and then they just completely ghosted me, which I'm happy happened because I would've had no time to do what I was doing for you, and I would've had to, do every part of it. I didn't know anything about, like, outsourcing or running a team, so I was gonna do the entire thing. So, I mean, I'm
Uh-huh.
happy it happened, but I've
Yeah.
always I've always tried to, do my own thing, and I've never actually had a real job.
So what have you learned in that time? So from the time that you started with your lemonade stand all the way up to now, which but you've been working with me. So what have you learned in all those different little time frames? What do you think you've taken away the most from those times?
Well, I would say I definitely learned the most from you, but even, like, as a kid, I think I was always shy, so starting to get to talk to people and like learn how to like sell. And of course, when you're a kid, like most people are gonna buy a lemonade stand. Like if they're passing by, they're gonna be nice or buy your bracelet. But it was good to talk to people and kind of learn that way. And then obviously when I met you, I was exposed to like a bunch of adults. Like it would be me and my friends doing this lemonade stand or like Rainbow Loom, and we'd be selling things, but it wasn't like I was dealing with thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars. Um,
Yeah.
and working with all these adults. So, working for you, first of all, I mean, I knew about social media because I'm on it all the time. Like all the intricacies of how to market and what's a CRM like, dude? I had no idea what that was back then either. How to market on social media, I knew none of that. So I know I have way more knowledge on that now. And then everything about real estate I had no idea. I heard like invest in single family apartments and you'll like have money forever, you'll be rich and retire, but I was like, I had no idea what that was. So learning all about that, and now like I just helped my dad napkin underwrite a deal because like I've been on so many calls. I'm like, dude, like it's so easy. Like so we did that. So learning all about real estate has been awesome. And then just like managing a team and like working with people, like outsourcing things. That's something you taught
Mhm.
me a lot, like create partnerships and don't like I we were on something and it was like um don't work in your business, work on your business. I think that's super important. So yeah, just like working with a team and working with so many adults, I think
Yeah,
forever
how has
paid
your
for.
mind expanded in terms of relating to money, relating to your capacity? Like, how has your worldview grown? Like, what's possible for you and what's possible for people? Like, what would you say? Like, how has your mind grown since, I don't know, from the lemonade stand time to your mom telling you to get a job to now creating a media company with me and being involved in real estate?
Yeah. Well, I think my entire life was always like, I want to be a millionaire. Like, I want to have all these fancy things, but I had no idea like how I would do that. I was just like, I'm gonna do it, and I'll figure it out. So I think this has given me much more of a path of like how I could achieve it,
Mhm.
and also, it's given me going to all these conferences, you're not like you're exposed to all this and you think it's such common knowledge when you start to learn. I remember the first Grant Cardone conference I went to. I thought it was like mind blowing. I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like I didn't know I had like a small foundation of what real estate was, but like Grant just like blows your mind and it was super cool cuz he teaches you like invest in all these things. Don't like go buy a house. Don't like invest in your 401k or IRA, which so many people do. And you're like, I mean, it makes total sense. Like, this is how you like get financial freedom. Like, you get cash flow, like, have your money work for you. And he teaches you all this, and you've taught me all of this. And you think it's common knowledge, and then you go back to the real world and nobody's doing it. So I think having that switch from like work your entire life and save up and then retire if you have any money left and learning like all these ways that like you can start making money now and you can retire in your like 30s and you
Yeah.
can be set for life. I think it's definitely helped. And even like you see on social media sometimes people are like if you don't buy that Starbucks coffee once a day, you'll save $10 a day and then by the time you retire if you put that in a compound interest account, you'll have $1 million. But who wants $1 million when they're 65 years old? Cuz then you
Yeah.
can't do
Yeah.
anything with it. So I think
Yeah.
that switch has been awesome.
Okay, cool. So you're 16 years old. I mean, I'm older than you longer than you've been alive,
I know,
which
crazy.
makes me feel really old, first of all. But it's just been a treat and been really amazing and fun and fulfilling to watch you grow and to have you as my right hand person. You know, what about how do you feel like you amongst your friends? Like mindset wise, when you see people at school and you see what they're doing, the conversations they're having, how
Yeah.
do you feel when you're around them in that space?
I remember when I first told my friends like I'm going to a conference. Now it's normal. Like they have a group chat when I'm not here. It's like I miss Nikki because he's out on a conference.
Yeah.
um, and everyone was like, "What is this? Like, why are you flying out?" And everyone thinks it's cool. And now all my teachers know because all my friends tell them like when I'm gone, they're like, "Oh, he's flying on a business trip." Then they like all ask me like, "What are you doing?" And I explain to them what I'm doing, and they all think it's cool. But like, my friends think it's cool, but they don't really it's like they don't really care that much to do it. They're just like, "Oh, cool, you're doing it," but I'm focused on, like, a million other things. Like, my
Hmm.
friends don't even really know what they wanna do when they grow up.
Yeah.
They're just kinda focused on, like, playing video games and playing sports, and I love doing both of those things too, but, you know, gotta manage your time. I haven't played that many video games in months. It's been a long time. So, it's it hasn't gotten like in the middle of our friendships, like we're all good, but they don't really understand what I do, and I don't think they really care to understand what I do. So I think the great
Mhm.
thing about the teen mastermind we have every week is at least like I get to be surrounded with other teens who care about out this. So it's a little easier to have conversation with them when they actually care about it because all my friends are like, it's cool that you're doing it. I don't really care.
What about the adults that are around you? Do you feel like you're shifting their perspective as well based on how you're showing up?
For sure. You know, my mom has always been very skeptical of what I've been doing. I mean, it's understandable. She's like an immigrant, or she's a family of immigrants, and she's worked a 9 to 5 her whole life. And like, she grew up poor. So it was like, save your money, buy a house, pay off your house, and retire. Um, so I understand where she's coming from. And my dad's like the polar opposite. He was the first one. Him and my aunt were actually the people that got me into the first deal with you and introduced me to you. So they've always really been on board, very much my dad. So unlike, and he's come to all the conferences with me. So he's always, he actually understands where it's coming from because like, he's immersed in it too. So he's always
Mhm.
been very supportive. But my mom has been a big challenge to try to convince that this is a good idea, but finally I think I'm getting through the cracks when I hosted the mastermind a few weeks ago. um, my mom called me after and was like, "Hey, what you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I just hosted Alex's call." She was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was like 60, 70 people." She was like, "Wait, what?" She was like, and I was like, "You can watch it on Alex's YouTube channel. Like, you should go check it out." So she ended up watching it like in work, and she was showing her coworkers. And then I had a doctor's appointment, and like my doctors always ask like, "What are you up to?" And like I'll explain to them. And mom was like, "Oh, you should check out this video that's on YouTube. Like he hosted this marketing call with all these adults, and there was this one sentence, Jake from State Farm, who I met at the last grant conference. He said like it was an honor to meet me, and that was like a very big deal for her because she was like, "Wait, an adult said he was honored to meet you?" So I think that started to change her perspective. Um, from the Airbnbs we have in Vegas now too, at least like my mom's a very results oriented person, so starting to see like money, that's her big sign. So I think starting to move that and just see like how passionate I am with it, she's begun to support it.
Hmm.
And the rest of my family like doesn't really know a ton about it. My dad's side's always supportive, like they go with the flow with everything. And there's also been the big debate of like I'm either going to college now or I'm taking a gap year. And that's been another hard convincing, but my mom's like financial advisor ended up convincing her that taking a gap year for me would be a good idea. So,
Hmm.
definitely my mom more convincing than my dad, but
Yeah, I think you already know it and you see it because a lot of adults are really inspired by you. Because man, 16 years old, talking about financial freedom, setting goals of having financial freedom by the time you're 30, and all these responsible decisions and actually doing things that they can't do, right? So you're like this, you've established yourself in a position of like this little social media guru, and you've been doing it for like 11 months.
yeah.
So what do you say to people that are like, I'm too young, I'm too old, or whatever it is that can't have it happen? Like what do you say to help them compress their time or maybe take the leap a little bit?
I think no matter what age you are, you can do anything you set your mind to. And you may have the biggest imposter syndrome. Like when I first started working for you, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I will figure it out one way or another. So even if you have like no idea what you're doing, you feel like you're too old, you're not mature, or you're too young and you're not mature enough to like handle all this stuff. If you really care about it, I think it's really important to find something you care about because like, I could do something and just do it for the sake of doing it and not actually enjoy doing it and I'd be miserable. But I feel like
Like
through
school.
yes, yeah, basically. It's right. It's the 9 to 5 job that I don't get paid for. And then have homework to do. So, um but I think finding something you love, these 11 months, I don't feel like I've worked a day ever. So, I always enjoy doing it. And I think if you really find something you love, you can do it no matter what age you are. And especially for people that are young, I don't think I could have done this without you. So, find someone that you look up to who like will really take a chance on you. And I was lucky to find you like this. I assume for a lot of people it's hard to find a mentor, especially one as good as you. Um,
Oh, thank you.
so so I think if you really love something, go for it. And you may fail. And I've done stuff where like I hated it and I was like, ugh, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, but if you really find something you like to do, go for it.
Yeah,
Take a chance.
nice. And then what about for parents? Like if parents are watching this, I want to give them value too, obviously, because there's probably going to be a lot of adults watching this that have kids. How what has been big factors in, helping you create success? Like how should the parents be with their kids?
Yeah. I mean, I've really had like polar opposite parents when it comes to this, but I actually
Mhm.
really like that it was like this because my dad's always, go, go, go. My mom always tries to ground me. So I like the component of both of them. I think I think whatever your kid wants to do, support them in it. Like for
Ooh.
sure. Even if you don't like fully understand it, support them. Like come like if it is real estate, go to the conferences with them. Like try to learn a little bit about what they're doing and what they want to do cuz if they love it, you should support them. And it'll strike up some conversation. Like you'll have a deeper connection if you kind of understand what they want to do. And
Wow.
at the end of the day, uh, you want to like make sure like they're going on a good path. Like you don't want them to like be like, oh, I love doing drugs and and drinking, and be like, oh yeah, yeah, let's do this together. But you know, if it's something you don't completely understand, learn and support them all the way, because it's their life, and you may think they're still pretty young and don't really understand, but I think most kids are smarter than you think.
Hmm. And also have the capacity to be able to do things at levels that adults are doing.
Yeah, I think.
Hmm.
I mean, unless you're
Okay.
2 years old, but I think most kids are just as capable as adults. Sometimes they even know more, depending on what field you're talking about. I think for sure marketing, like there's untapped potential with kids because we're on it all the time. Even though I had no idea, like how to market on social media, I spend 8 hours on TikTok every day back then. Like
Hmm.
I understand how it works. I understand what people want to see, but I had never done it before.
Yeah. And when you bring that up too, I want to speak to the people that can be mentors, people that have created success out there, and people that are, doing well for themselves, that have a lot to share. Share with teens too. Like find a place where you can share with a protege, someone that you can take under your wings, not just another guy that is driven to do it, but like a teen, somebody that is young that you can take and go and do it, because the fulfillment that comes from it, is amazing. The second one is it keeps you wanting to inspire. And I think me wanting to inspire you and show you the right path and give you the results, prove to your parents, like all this stuff that I take on that's yours, actually makes me better. So I want to, so for anybody out there that has created success, like we, not just for our kids, right? Like, yes, it's the easiest to just start mentoring and being a mentor to your kid. But sometimes it's harder for your kid to listen to you because you've been in their life
For
the whole
sure,
time.
for sure.
So mentor somebody else, right? And then also allow your kid to be mentored by somebody else. Like help them find that person. I think that's super important. And this journey that you and I have been on, it's been short, but it's been very fulfilling, very meaningful. Lots of lessons in there for me. And in terms of being like a good person and a role model, like having somebody like you keeps me accountable to that as well. I'm like, man, I got this kid that's watching everything that I do. Right. So, everything from work ethic to consistency to just doing the right thing and showing up as a good person, a good contributing member of society. Like all of that is on my mind when I do it. I'm like, well, Nick is watching me. All right. So I get to be a certain way. So yeah, that's the opportunity also that you've given me. And so thank you for that. Let's shift back a little bit to like your heroes, because a lot of times our heroes make big impacts in our lives, whether it's a cartoon. I grew up and I was, Dragon Ball Z's been one of my biggest ones, and me watching some of the characters and how they are and how they react to situations, like those things impacted me greatly. Like I wanted to be great, I wanted to be the hero, right? Or it goes from Top Gun, like Tom Cruise in Top Gun was a hero of mine. I was like, man, he's so cool. Maybe wanted to get fit, maybe wanted to be cool. So you have do you have heroes that impacted you up to this point in your life?
Yeah. Well, besides you, I have been the biggest Star Wars fan my entire life. I was born
Okay.
on Star Wars Day, May 4th.
Uh, May
So, I
May
mean,
4th.
yeah, yeah, those movies have had a huge impact on me. I remember first watching Star Wars on DVD at my dad's house, and we had like the box set of the original trilogy, so 4, 5, and 6. And I must have watched them 20 times each because I loved them. Like the entire story with Darth Vader and Luke, it was, and all the space battles, like I loved those movies and I couldn't wait to watch the prequels. And because like even long ago, like there wasn't Amazon one day shipping, so we had to like wait for it to come like 5 days for the box set of 1, 2, and 3 to come. I remember just like absolutely dying to watch those movies. I've seen every Star Wars movie probably 50 times at least.
Wow,
Even
really?
when the
So
new
who's
ones
your
came out.
favorite? Who are your heroes in there?
I think my all-time favorite character from Star Wars is Obi-Wan.
Yeah, of
I love
course.
him. I love him from the prequels. I love him in the fourth movie, and I think he was always like a role model, and he no matter like what happened, like all the hardships like that he went through, like at the end of episode 3 and into episode 4 and all that, he always was good no matter what, and he always tried to do the best. And obviously I love Darth Vader too. He's just an amazing villain, right? Um, so I think those movies have had a big impact on me. I don't
What
know,
about
like
Obi-Wan? Like, what about Obi-Wan's character that you've kind of taken on to be something that's important for you?
I think he's just a really cool dude. Like I love Ewan McGregor. I think he's a great actor, and I it was cool that he was a mentor for Anakin too throughout all the movies. And I think one day I want to mentor someone myself too. I love teaching. Actually, when I was a kid, my grandparents used to pick me up from school, and we used to play school. Like I would be the teacher, and I'd teach them stuff I learned in school that week. And they would never do their homework, and I'd always yell at them for like 5 years. Every day they used to pick me up, and we do this. So I love teaching people too, and it's something
Right.
I want
So
to I
there's
want to do
no
eventually.
accident that you really found me too, because I love teaching. Teaching and mentoring and it's just something that I love. So of course, this is a relationship that is divine.
Yeah,
It's divine intervention basically, and caused it to happen. So okay. And now you are actually in a position of teaching, right? Of
yeah,
different things.
I am right. It's
Okay.
been, I mean, it was great to teach everyone on Monday night calls on that Monday night call I hosted, even the one I hosted back in September. And I think the more you can share with everyone, the better. And I've learned so much from doing just doing everything with you. I think everything I did with you is 10, like 100 times a normal person would do. Like when we buy shirts, we buy hundreds. When we do ads, we go with thousands, right? And it's like no matter what, we're going. And I think that speed has maybe learned more than I could have, just learning myself in like 10 years.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
and I mean, we have results to show it, right? I
Yeah.
think I
And I
think
and
you've
I
grown
always say
incredibly
that it's
fast.
one of the most important things is to compress time. What you can do in a year, why would you take 10 years to do?
Yeah.
Right? If you had somebody to show you, a mentor to show you along the way, you're saving time. 10 years is a long time. I mean, if you're on your deathbed and you got 5 minutes left,
Yeah.
10 years is like an eternity.
I'm only 16. That's 6 more years than I'm alive, or 6 less years.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking about that, I know this is a deeper question. Normally adults are good at answering this. Let's see how you answer. How do you
Okay.
want to be remembered?
How do I want to be remembered?
Mhm.
You know, I want to be remembered for like doing something good in the world. I think there are so many people that like when they get rich, like money corrupts them and they just become greedy. But that's like the complete opposite of how I want to be. Like when I get money, I want to give back like no matter what. So I want to be remembered who's someone that like made an impact on the world. I don't want to be remembered as a nobody. That's why I don't want to work a 9 to 5 job, because nobody's going to remember you. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be someone that gets rich and just is like, all the money for me. I'm gonna like, I just want everything to work for me. I just want to get more and more and more money, even if I have like billions of dollars. Like I want to give back, like if that's teaching or like volunteering or giving back through charity. Helping the environment, I think, is super important, because we only got one shot at keeping the world alive. And I think if like I come into all this money, I think there's a lot of good that you can do instead of just being like super greedy. So I want to do good with the world, and I want to be remembered as someone who made an impact for the better, not for the worse.
Wow, I love that. Um, I asked that question, and it's pretty funny across the board because if I ask, I'm asking you who's 16, I've asked people who are much older, and when I ask this question, it's all very similar. It comes down to I want to be I want to make an impact. I want to do something good, right? But we often don't forget that. We often forget that on during the journey that this is how we want to be remembered. So I always like to ask this question because anybody that's watching this can also ask themselves this question. Because you're not gonna want to say when before I die, I want to be remembered as an asshole, right? As this greedy person.
No, 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 no.
Okay, so I also ask about um, like morning routines, but you got school. So what does your typical day look like?
Let's see. I am the worst morning person. I hate waking up in the morning.
I
Like,
know.
like I hate it, and school is so early in the morning. So, first of all, my alarm is set for 6:20 a.m. and I snooze it 3 times because I can't wake up. And like just like the cycle of me waking up, like getting woken up by my alarm, I guess like gets me up sometimes, but I have PTSD from that sound. If I hear it at any point where I'm not sleeping, I hate it. So I get up at like 6:50 in the morning. Um and I get ready for school, I brush my teeth, do my hair, put on clothes, get my laptop and put it in my backpack. And then I gotta make lunch. So I usually make a sandwich or something. And then my friend who has his license already drives me to school, and I do
Oh.
that all in the span of 20 minutes. So from 6:50 to 7:10 is my entire morning routine. And it ain't much of a routine because I don't eat breakfast. I don't do anything. It's like it's down to a science. Like I have every minute planned out of those 20 minutes and I gotta stay on schedule. Or I'll never make it on time.
Yeah.
Then I get to school. Um I go to first period, which I have physics. And I'll usually eat a bagel in that class because I haven't eaten in the morning. Half the time I'm exhausted because like I was up till 12 and I'm like, what is happening in the morning? It usually takes me till fourth period because that's when I have gym that I'm actually like fully awake. I have in my morning classes, I have physics, then I have pre-calc, and then I have gym. That'll get me up in the morning. And then I have lunch, U.S. history, social media marketing, which I thought would be an awesome class to take because like it has so much to do with me and what we're doing. But it ends up just being a study hall period. So if I'm not doing other homework, I'm just working on like the business. So I have on my school MacBook, I'm like logged into the CRM. I got Stripe, like I got all these things set up on my computer. So anytime we're not doing work in class and I don't have any homework to do, I'm like just working on something. Like I set up
Mhm.
your ManyChat automations in the middle of social media marketing because I
Dude,
was bored. And then
thank
I have
God for that class.
right, and then I have English, and then I have Italian to round off the day. But I think the really interesting thing is, out of all the teens I know in this field, I am the only one that goes to public school. Like they're either homeschooled or they're most of them are homeschooled, and then some go to private school. And I think if I took the work I do in a day, like in school, like just whatever work I had, I could probably do it in 2 or 3 hours instead of the 7 hours I'm at school. So I think there's a lot of extra time. Um, in school that I kind of like either goof around in with my friends or I try to get some work done or like get a start on my homework. And usually on like Monday night calls, I'm like trying to let people in the Zoom, but I'm also doing my math homework or like my English essay. So it's a lot of juggling, but
Yeah.
that's my routine. And then the last few months, I play tennis. So I've been going to tennis practice, and you realize that between the time school ends and the time like my brain's fried and I can't do any more work from like 3 to 11, you only have 8 hours, and like 2 of those hours occupied for tennis or three. If I have like a match, is a lot of time that I don't have back because then we have a call, and that's like another 3 hours. So
Yeah.
time management has been incredibly
Right.
important.
Now, at least, I mean, you're going to school full time, you're playing sports, then you're coming back and you're doing all this work, then you're being on calls. So there's really not that very many excuses that people can really have when they have a 9 to 5 job, right? Because so many people say, I don't got time for this. But you've managed to make time with
Yeah.
school, tennis, building a business, attending calls, learning, growing yourself. And and yeah, even time to hang out with family
Yeah.
and friends. How do people what do you say to people that just have that as an excuse?
I
They
would
have a 9
say
to 5. Oh my god, it's too much.
no, I would say again, if you really love doing it, you'll find time for it. But just like not even me, most kids, like we go to school, a lot of them play sports. Like there's probably 2 hours of homework we have to do. And a lot of people have normal jobs. Like I know people that work at ShopRite from like 6 p.m. to like 11 o'clock. Like they work like 4 hours a day after school. Like their days are full, and then by the time you get home and get your work done, you're not getting to bed till like 1 in the morning, and then you got to get up at 6:40 the next day. And most people are a little more reasonable than I do and get up a little earlier. Don't have 20 minutes to get ready. Um, so their days are like jam packed. So I think there is no excuse. If you're a parent, like look at your kids, they're probably, I mean, if they're like in high school, they're probably pretty busy.
Mhm.
And you can make time for it. And I think the hard thing is like, especially with kids, even if they want to start their own business, like their parents there is so much pressure to get a job because like I'm gonna get a car in a month. Like I gotta make car payments and insurance, and I have to have money for gas. Like most people are like they need a job for that. And then
Unless
it
you
gives
go
you no.
electric.
Hmm?
Unless you go electric.
Yeah, but a new Tesla is like $60,000.
Hey.
um, but yeah, I think that also like it demotivates people because you're burnt out. If I had to work a normal job and then do this, there's no way I'd survive. Um, but I
Mhm.
think back to the thing about not having time. You can make time no matter what. You can make time if you really want to do it. I mean, I'm a prime example. I make time for this because I really enjoy it. I could not. I could like sleep and play video games and like just hang out with my friends every day, and I'd have a great time doing it. But this is way more important for me, and
Yeah.
could make
Wow. So
time.
yeah, so prioritizing something and not making excuses what I'm hearing is
Yeah,
just doing it. Find the passion, find what you love. Okay, how do people find I mean, I think you've been answering it, but when somebody loves it, but how do people find their passion really in life?
there's a lot of trial and error, but like you gotta try a bunch of different stuff. I've always like I'm like my mom in this way. I like to do stuff and then I get bored. So it's like I've tried a million like random things um throughout my life to see what I've loved. I took like 2 years of programming and I still love doing it, and there's actually been some scenarios where I've been able to incorporate some of my programming skills into real estate. But then I realized like it's not something I want to do full time. I've tried a bunch of different stuff, and I think a lot of it is trial and error because you're not going to know what is your passion is until you try it. And there's going to be a lot of times where you try it and then you just don't do it again. And don't let
Mhm.
people like force you into doing something. Like I would never force someone to be like, do multifamily. Like if they didn't actually want to do it, because they'd just
Uh-huh.
be like, even if you made the money, you'd be bored and you'd be miserable. That's not worth it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think a lot of trial and error, and you'll just know if you enjoy doing it and you don't get bored of it. Like there will be days where you just hate doing it. Like if I have to write an audit, I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this. Um, there are some times where it's like it's painstaking work and like there's a lot to do, but you enjoy doing it and you get through it. And there's ups and downs, but like if you continue to do it, and especially if you have like accountability, like I'm working with so many people. If I was working by myself, like I would fall off fast because I'd have no one holding me accountable. But when you really find something you like to do, like you'll just never stop doing it, and then that's when you know you found your passion.
That's a huge one right there. Making holding yourself accountable. Use other people to hold you accountable. Use social media, have a business, mentor somebody. It forces you to be accountable because that is how I wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning, I have like a little, priority list thing. I do I hug my wife, and then after that I'm like, okay, it's time to get on a call because I got a list of things. I held myself accountable using people because it's
Yeah.
very easy. If my calendar is empty, I could choose to not do anything,
Yep.
right? Or, using those people, I'm like, oh, I got to get on this call. I
Yeah.
got, I got to show up.
Yeah. What I've actually realized, even before I met you. I'm super bad at holding myself accountable at things. If I don't like have a deadline, I won't make it. Or even with schoolwork, like I'll procrastinate it till the night before. There are some things that are just like not on my to-do list that will like spend I will not do it for months. Like if I don't set my mind to it, like it won't get done. And I think like there was always stuff I wanted to do. When I was a kid, I used to make games and like put them on the App Store. And it was all like this block code or like moving little nodes. And I was like, I always wanted to learn how to program. But it seemed like a daunting task, like, to learn all of that, like, through watching YouTube videos. I always wanted to make games, like, with coding and stuff, and I was like, "I wanna do it," and I, like, bought a course on how to do it, and I'd watch, like, 2 episodes of it, and then I just quit, or I'd watch, like, a bunch of YouTube videos, like, "Oh, I'll do this," and then I'll go on. I'll spend, like, an hour, and I'll never do it again. So and the only way I realized that I could keep myself accountable is if I actually took a class, like, in school of how to do it. 'Cause then you got grades, and I'm very like, my grades are very important to me, like, if it's not straight A's on that list, I'm doing something wrong. So, with this, I can't even slack off in school because I won't let myself. I need the A's, like, for my own well-being, so it's like, I can't even slack off in school and focus on this more, it's like, I need those A's, so I'm getting those A's too.
So
Um
you're using everything else to keep you accountable, which is
Yeah,
great.
I think classes, like, cause that homework, I gotta learn how to program because I gotta take a test on it next week. So I don't really got a choice. And it was super fun, and I'm glad I learned. But if I
Okay,
didn't
that's
have that
interesting.
class and those grades holding me accountable, I would have never learned how to do it.
Well, you know what? You put a little new perspective into my mind right here, my little mind that's like school's bad. School's just like, no
Most
need
of
for
it
school,
is.
but I don't know. Maybe you've added something that I can think about now. I can reflect on.
I would say with school, there's a lot of stuff in school that I learned that I will never need to know again.
All
Like, I don't
right.
need to know physics. I don't need to know pre-calculus. I don't need to know I guess it's good to know US history, but, like, really, you're not gonna need to know it ever. I don't need to know Italian. I've taken 3 years Italian. I can say, like, 1 sentence. Like, "Ciao, mi chiamo Nick." Like, that's my Italian right there. So there's a lot of wasted time, but I think electives, like, the elective classes I get to pick how to like, to take are the best classes of the day because they're actually something you enjoy doing. And usually, if you enjoy doing it, you'll pay more attention. So those
Mhm.
classes are great to hold you accountable, unless you're going into a math field or a science field. Like these are not things you're probably going to care about. So I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm not really sure where pre-calculus goes. I don't know who uses pre-calculus. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
engineers or something.
yeah,
I don't
probably
know.
engineers, but like I don't see me using pre-calc investing in real estate anytime soon. So
Yeah.
it kinda goes
Okay.
in one ear, I regurgitate it on a test, and then it goes out the other ear.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so yes, holding using other things to hold you accountable, that's great because it's kind of like going to the gym for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm going. I'm going. Hold it off, and then I can never be consistent. But now that I got a trainer, I'm like, I gotta go. And
Yeah.
my trainer is holding me accountable. He's messaging me. I'm like, okay, I'm going. So okay, that's really great. Okay, what is the single best trait that you think you have?
Mm, that's
Yeah,
put me on the
tough one.
spot there.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think hmm, I think I'm good at adapting to things, like, taking, like, the information or the resources I have and, like, super analyzing it and then figuring out how to, like, make it a final product or, like, turning it into something that's, like, usable, and I do it all the time with you, especially for this podcast, is like, "I'm gonna launch this podcast on 420," and, I mean, I've worked on a podcast before, so I know what goes into it. I'm like, "Is, like, anything done for it?" It's coming out in 1 week, like, is it edited? Is there show notes? Like, is your podcast on any directories yet? Is there a trailer? Are you promoting it? Like, nothing was done, so I was like, "Alright, I'm doing this now," so I went on Upwork, I found a bunch of people. I was like, this is the price. Like, we got to do it. So all the videos are getting edited, so they're a final product. I hopped on like 3 Zoom calls to like, make sure everything was going well. Um,
Dude,
so
sick.
I think adapting and taking ideas or just like a mess of things and bringing them into one, I think is a strong
How
trait to
many
have.
people are you managing these days?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I think directly managing, I mean, we have I'm not gonna name people's names, but I like probably 7 or 8, close to
Wow.
that
Look at that.
now,
16-year-old
at least.
managing
Plus
7
all the
people.
clients you've had, I guess that counts as managing. And then we have the entirety of Legends, which is like 60 people to, keep control of with other
Yeah.
people. So yeah, no,
Wow.
it's so surreal that I'm 16 and I'm managing people that are like some are like twice my age.
Yeah.
Um,
At least twice your
at
age.
least twice my age. Yeah.
Probably most.
Yeah. That's not that old, 32.
Okay. Um, I don't know. This is a question that I also have. Like, what is something you wish you started doing earlier, years ago?
Which I started doing years ago. Um, I mean, obviously, I wish I met you years ago. I don't know if I would have been in the position. I think I met you at a perfect time where it was like I didn't have a ton of responsibility yet. Because when you're an adult, like you gotta have a job. Like right now, I can work on this without like making a steady stream of income because I don't have a lot of financial responsibility yet.
Mhm.
Eventually, especially people that are older, like they gotta work a job to be able to support themselves while they're building a business because it's not going to support you off the bat. So
That's
I think I met
forward
you at a
thinking. Yeah.
perfect time, and I'm always kind of mature for my age, but I don't think me as a 14-year-old would be able to do this with like a certain amount of consistency. Maybe I mean I don't
Maybe.
know.
Who
I
knows?
could have. Who knows? But I think I met you at a good time. I don't know what I could have done. I wish I knew a lot about all this money and financial and real estate stuff earlier. Um, but I think it's a great time that I met you. So there's not too
Yeah.
much I wish I would have done earlier. And I enjoyed my youth. I had my fun time, and got to do all the cool stuff. And now I would rather work hard now and miss out on some experiences and be able to do it the rest of my life than having to work a 9 to 5 job forever and ever. So
Wow.
I will. There
That's
are some
wisdom being
times,
dropped.
yeah, there was when we went to Sarasota in October, like there was a Halloween party that happened, and I was like, I was down in Florida. I was like, damn, I'm missing that. But sometimes you got to make sacrifices to for the better, for the
Sometimes you gotta
future.
make sacrifices. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. So how do people contact you, or what do you guys even use? I know if most people my age and everybody that I've interviewed is like, just reach out, contact through Instagram. What's your
Yeah.
form of communication with people?
Yeah, you can. I am not big for all the social media I do. I don't have that much for myself. I'm a pretty like private person, but I think my Instagram is Nick C. Monte at Nick C. Monte. I'm pretty sure this is. I
Uh-huh.
should have had this ready, but you can DM me. I think.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yep. Yeah, at Nick CMONTE. Um, also our marketing company, lovelymarketing.com. So if you want to book a call with us, I'd love to talk more about social media. So you can contact me that way. Um,
Love it.
and yeah, I think that's just about it. I'm not gonna give out my my email or phone number. Actually, you
Okay,
can
no
email
worries, no
me
worries.
at
We don't
nick
we
at
don't need everybody stalking you
lovelymarketing.com.
right now
Yeah,
anyways.
you can email me at nick at lovelymarketing.com though. That's my
Nice.
business email. You can
Perfect,
contact me
perfect.
there. And I'd love to talk more about social media because spread the word. It's a big part of not just multifamily, but I think it's important for any business. And
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
it's fun.
Well, that's awesome. So, I'm going to give you another stage to be able to present things and to teach things about social media. So, all right, let's do that, and I don't know, I'll see you on the next call that we do.
Yeah. Next
All right.
Monday night
Anything else you
calls.
want to share with people before we wrap this up?
Yeah. I think, just just do it. As Nike
Just
says.
do it.
You want to do something, find a way to do it, put a team together, meet people. I I think a big thing you've taught me throughout this year has been, make partnerships. And I was very skeptical at first. I was like, I want my piece of the pie. I don't want to give it up to all these people. I can do it myself. Like the saying, like if you want something like to get done, do it yourself. And I think it still is kind of true. Like I could probably do like every aspect of the company by myself, but
Uh-huh.
if you can find something that like someone can do like 80% as good as you, like do it. Like you don't want to spend your whole entire time just working for your business. You want to work on growing it. So,
Yeah.
making those partnerships and putting a team together, outsource.
Yeah, and I
All your
always say this
dreams.
thing. This is if you were to have $1 million in a business or a real estate deal, you don't want 100% of $1 million business or $1 million. You want 1% of $100 million. See, the value is the same,
Yeah.
but it's worlds of difference in ownership. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, with that, we will wrap up, and we'll see you
Yeah, it
next
was
time,
great to
Nick.
talk
And
with you.
with that, we come to the end of another powerful episode of the That Changed My Life podcast. We hope you've been deeply moved by the personal stories shared today and that they have inspired you to reflect on your own life experiences. Change can be uncomfortable and challenging, but it's often the catalyst for growth and progress. Whether it's overcoming obstacles, taking risks, or embracing new opportunities, our lives are shaped by the choices we make and the moments that leave a lasting impact. I encourage you to take these stories to heart and reflect on how they can influence your own life. What changes do you need to make to become the best version of yourself? What pivotal moments have shaped your journey so far? How can you harness the power of change to create a more fulfilling life? Thank you for your continued support of the podcast. Remember to subscribe, leave a rating and review to help us reach more listeners and share these transformative stories with others. Follow me on Instagram at AlexLovely and use hashtag #ThatChangedMyLife. I look forward to bringing you more inspiring stories in next week's episode. Until then, keep embracing change, striving for growth, and making a positive impact in your own life. This is Alex, signing off.